Welcome, Rotarians and guests, to the Rotary Club of York, where our mission is to improve life in the city of York by connecting our club's diverse community leaders through fellowship, action, and service. I'm your president, Courtney Piccolo, and as you know, we start off each of our meetings by reciting the four-way test. Please join me. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Today, our opening song, God Bless America, and the pledge will be led by Cal Weary, followed by the invocation by past District Governor Dick Brown, and visitor introductions by Nick Beck.
It's a different backing track than I'm used to for this one. We can probably be louder than that, right? That's not going to throw you guys off, will it? Okay. And people at home are like, why is he saying this? There's music playing in the room. It's wonderful. God bless America. Please join me, Rotarians. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we each reflect in our own way. O God, our Commander and Chief Rotarian, you have given us our orders for the day, to do unto others as we would have others do unto us. You have supported and encouraged us as citizens of this great country to help lead in the public forum, as today's speakers will highlight. We ask for encouragement to continue in our work. We ask for enthusiasm to excel. We ask for commitment to complete our tasks. We ask for compassion, not for ourselves, but for those for whom we care. And we ask your blessing on the President of the United States of America and all leaders as we seek to encourage all good people of your world to put aside differences, seek common ground, and embrace peace and goodwill for all. Bless this gathering of Rotarians and friends as we renew our commitment to service above self. Bless this food to our nourishment and this fellowship to our pleasure. Amen.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I am pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand if you are able, and remain standing until President Courtney has welcomed you. First, we have Dylan Hamil, guest of Ben Shipley, Cade Prebula, guest of Ben Shipley, Marina Brown, guest of myself, Lena Poff, guest of Matt Poff, Albert Liao, guest of Thomas Calderon, Courtney Beekler, guest of Frank Countess, Melissa Beaverson, guest of Laura Wagner, Casey Nixon, guest of membership, Andrew Coplist, also a guest of membership, Rebecca Diaz, guest of student education, and Jeff Cleaver, guest of Kathleen Brown.
Visitors, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you today. Your presence here is truly valued, and we are thrilled to have you join us. I believe that each of you brings unique experiences and perspectives so that you can enrich our community efforts. Rotarians, please help me welcome our visitors. And now for some announcements. So thank you to Rob Bowen and the Membership Engagement Committee for treating us to a fun day at the York Fair last week. We had a great tour, a delicious lunch, and learned some fun fair facts. For those of you who missed the event, here are a few facts that I took away from the behind the scenes tour of the fair. So in case you didn't know this, over 400 people sleep at the fair every single night. They have two campgrounds, but a lot of the workers just stay at the fair throughout the 10-day period. They can seat up to 14,000 people in their concert space, and they have over 1,100 animals that will be at some point throughout the 10-day period at the fair. So 1,100 animals, that's a lot of animals. Their Ferris wheel that they have, the big one, because they have two, but the big Ferris wheel, that's actually in the top 5 Ferris wheels in the world for the largest traveling Ferris wheel. Did I get that right, Rob? Largest traveling Ferris wheel, top 5 of the world here in York, Pennsylvania at the York Fair. And lastly, their annual attendance is 400,000 people. So in 10 days, 400,000 people went through the York Fair, bringing all that business to York County. So pretty cool tour that we took place. Here's some pictures from the event, but great job to the Membership Engagement Committee for putting that awesome event together. Some other announcements. The Membership Recruitment Committee will meet at 1:30 p.m. today after this meeting downstairs in the Mixed Grill, as well as the Youth Leadership Committee will also meet downstairs after this meeting in the Mixed Grill. Are you considering playing croquet in our Love for Community event on September 9th, but you are not sure how to play or feel like it might be too complicated? Fear not, Mike Osherman is the most patient man on the planet Earth and is hosting 2 croquet learning sessions of fun fellowship and croquet at his home on August 11th and August 25th at 2 p.m. He'll also provide some light refreshments. So if you're interested in attending this and prep for the Love for Community event, please contact Mike Osherman. So I saw this car last week parked in the Rotary park, or not the Rotary parking lot, the York Country Club parking lot. And one of 2 things here are happening. Either one, the owner of this vehicle is spreading the word of Rotary by using yard signs as a shield from the sun everywhere that they go, which is genius. Or the owner of the vehicle has not yet taken the yard sign that we handed out 2 months ago home and put it in their yard. Either way, regardless, it reminded me to just remind you, if you have a yard sign, to make sure you are displaying it. And if you didn't get one and you want one, I brought some. They're right by the door here when you leave on your right. If you wanted to take one on your way out, you are welcome to. And now I invite Sarah Bradley to the podium for a Love for Community update. Thanks, Courtney.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Bradley, and on behalf of the Fundraising Committee, I would like to thank everyone in this room and those who are not in this room for taking the time to respond to the request for sponsorships, auction items, and general participation in our Love Community event taking place right here at the Country Club of York on September 9th. This year, our presenting sponsors are North Industrial Chemicals and Fox 43. So if we can take a minute and just give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Would not happen without you. This year, we have several ways to participate throughout the day, including cornhole, croquet, pickleball, tennis, and golf. President Courtney, according to the official World Golf Rankings, do you know who the best male golfer is as of the end of July? Winner! Did anyone else in the room know that? Okay. What about the best woman in the world? Her name, yes, Nelly Corda. And who else in the room knew that? Sounds like we have a lot of golfers on September 9th in the room. I appreciate that. In addition to the delightful game of golf, an extra $20 ticket on the day of the event will get you even more competition for the longest drive, closest to the pin, beat the pro, and if you golf like me, a mulligan. There are also gift certificates for the 3 lowest scoring teams. After a day of delightful competition and dinner, there will be both live and silent auction items, and we're just going to tease a couple of them for you here today. Yes. A fly fishing experience for 2. Do you see yourself on the water with Rotarian Dan May? On a private, beautiful, majestic stream in southern York County. The package includes the company of Dan May. It includes instruction, rods, reels, flies, food, and beverages. Our second one, donated by the Bailey Family Companies with transportation by Bailey Clothes. Coach, you and 10 of your closest friends will head down to Top Golf in Baltimore, Maryland. The package includes transportation, 2.5 hours of golf, and a $250 package of food and beverages. Whoa, I like it too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Finally, as a teaser today, brought to you by Mike Howe, previously of Howe Wood Products, come with family or friends to the beautiful Crystal Sands Beach House in Murrells Inlet, located in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The house can accommodate up to 16 people, is a 2-minute walk to the beach, and has a heated pool on the roof. If you haven't already registered for the event, there is still time. In fact, there are brochures right in front of you. Thank you, and the fundraising committee looks forward to seeing you on that day. Thank you.
As you all know, this is our club's largest fundraiser of the year, and we raise funds just by asking members to participate in a sport. You don't have to be good at it or anything, and enjoy a delicious dinner while having the opportunity to get your hands on some awesome auction items, some of which you just saw. So I'd encourage you all to try to participate in some way on the day of the Love for Community event on September 9th. And now I invite Andy Siebold to the podium to give us an update on our club's Global Project Task Force and hear from his recent trip from Ethiopia. Andy.
Good afternoon. I am back from an incredible trip to Ethiopia, came back last Tuesday. There were 31 of us that actually went to Ethiopia to serve on a medical mission as well as a community mission. It's amazing when there's a group of committed people that come together. And quite honestly, I say we, because all of you have been a huge support in providing donations. Over $4,000 worth of medications and school supplies were donated from this club to support the people in Ethiopia. What you're seeing on the screen is a short video about the trip. It had a significant impact. So just a little bit about Sandafa, Ethiopia. There are over 25,000 people in this village in Sandafa, which is about an hour north of Addis Ababa. It is one of the poorest areas of the world. Of the 25,000 plus people that are there, less than half of them actually have access to a bathroom, very limited access to clean water, significant disease, very limited access to healthcare. So Living Word Community Church, in partnership with many other providers in the community, have been going there for 19 years consistently every July to provide care for this population. So we saw over 4,600 people in a week, providing free medical care, surgery, dental, vision services to this population. In addition to that, we went into the school and taught over 355 students. As you can see in the classroom here, there were about 120 students eager to learn every single day of the week. And it was just incredible to be there with them. In addition to that, we partnered with our Rotarian friends in Ethiopia. And as you may recall, we're building bathrooms in Sandafa. So 16 bathrooms will be built starting this October based on a $62,000 global grant that we collectively have contributed to. And so that project gets started in October. You can see the poverty level here on the screen, literally 10 by 12 feet. There will be a family of 3 or 6 people living in there, dirt floors. So when we went out, we did 34 home visits. We delivered vinyl to put on their floors. We also were able to give care kits, healthcare kits to them with medications, with vitamins. So it truly was an impactful trip. In addition, our Rotarian friends, Enoch and the Central Mailer Rotary Club, they visited us 3 times during this trip, including having several of us to Enoch's home, where there were over 20 Rotarians at his home. You can see the exchange of the flag at his home, and they're super excited about an ongoing partnership with us in Sandafa. So we will be returning back in July of next year. My invitation for you is please join me. It has been one of the best things that I did over 10 years ago, going on my first mission trip, which I never thought I would do. And it has forever changed me personally and professionally. And anybody that would have an interest in that, please see me, because It will be truly an incredible trip for you. So thank you. Appreciate your support.
Andy, you have made a significant impact on the lives of countless individuals. Your selflessness and compassion are shining examples of service above self and what it means to be a Rotarian. So another round of applause for Andy. Thank you. And now I invite Michael Lowe to the podium for a Student Scholar recognition.
So good afternoon to everyone. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Student Education Committee to recognize our recipient of the James C. and Carrie B. Bush Scholarship for $1,200. Rebecca Diaz is a 2024 graduate of Central York and is going to be a freshman at Boston College. Rebecca is majoring in business management and leadership, and her goal after graduation is to become a nonprofit manager working in the area of professional sports. In particular, she wants to focus on ice hockey, which you should know Boston College is #1 in the area of ice hockey. So at this time, can you join me in recognizing Rebecca Diaz?
Rebecca, congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. We look forward to your bright future. And now it is time to introduce today's program. And to be honest, our speaker today does not need much of an introduction, as he is one of our own, past President Bryan Tate. Bryan was appointed chairman of the York County's Commission for America 250 PA by the York County Commissioners in 2021 and has been assembling a committee of advisors since then. In addition to his role and his day job, Bryan is a people connector, a nonprofit, and a government leader and a community influencer. He was just elected president-elect on his statewide association, which he just hosted 2 weeks ago in York, in which he was recognized as having one of the most memorable state conferences in recent history. And in June, Bryan Tate hosted 1,000 people in York for the Miss Pennsylvania competition. Today, Bryan will be putting on his history hat as he introduces History Made Here, York County. Bryan will give us the inside scoop on the birthday celebration for York County and America, as well as the anniversary of our nation's first Constitution. He is here to share how York County will be celebrating for 4 years. And I can't think of a better person to get the party started. Past President Bryan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, President Courtney and fellow Rotarians and guests. It's great to be talking to you today. The first thing I need to do is apologize for President Commissioner Julie Wheeler, who was supposed to be joining me in the presentation, but got called away to another event. Not that she didn't feel Rotary was worthy, but she's pressed with a lot of events these days, and she felt that I could carry the ball. So thanks for putting up with just me. She was confident that I could educate and inspire you all about some important events here in York. So History Made Here, York County, Pennsylvania. This all started when Julie and I took office back in 2020. And as President Commissioner, she was approached by America 250 PA to appoint someone to head up York County's commission for the state organization created to organize Pennsylvania's epic celebration of our nation's big birthday in 2026. Some of you might remember when Cassandra Coleman, the executive director of America 250 PA, spoke here at Rotary a couple of years ago. Julie and I had a conversation about the big birthday, and I noted, well, we have a big county birthday first and an important anniversary following, so shouldn't we just plan one great big event that celebrates all three? And that is how you volunteer yourself to be chairman of a commission planning some big parties. So how many of you in the room remember celebrating the bicentennial in 1976? So people who are my age, older, yes. And how many of you men like me dressed as George Washington for Halloween that year when you were in elementary school? I know there have to be a few of you. How many of you ladies dressed as Betsy Ross for Halloween that year? I know you did. Come on, raise your hands. So I'm going to see if my mom still has those pictures and maybe you can see them on Facebook later. So first, please join us in celebrating the upcoming anniversary of the County of York's birthday. This is a really big deal. How often do we get to celebrate a 275th birthday? That birthday is August 19th. And how many of you, please join me, can say Bicenter Quasquagenary? Say it with me. Bicenter Quasquagenary. It doesn't really roll off your tongue. That's why we're saying the 275th birthday of the county. So on that great day in 1749, the Provincial Council of Pennsylvania voted to, quote, erect part of the province of Pennsylvania westward of the Susquehanna and southeastward of the South Mountain into a county. Now, remember, 275 years ago, that included what we call Adams County, and they wouldn't sever from us until 1800. So why did we break off from Lancaster County and why did they let us? Well, I think they were tired of Yorkers complaining that the city of Lancaster, or a borough back then, was just so far away that it just took way too long to get there, to go to court or any other public offices. At least that's what the actual document reads. And so the council, with the advice of Thomas and Richard Penn and the signature of our then Lieutenant Governor James Hamilton, they passed and signed the act to make us York County. And the complaining that Lancaster is so far away still remains, and the love for the War of the Roses was made even stronger. All right, so if Bicenter Quasquagenary was too difficult to say for York's 275th birthday, perhaps the semi-quincentennial of the United States of America will be easier for you. The Pennsylvania Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial was established by the legislature and our honorary Rotary member, former Governor Tom Wolf, in 2018 to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the founding of our great nation. And also Pennsylvania's integral role in that event. America 250 PA is working to engage all citizens of the Commonwealth from all 67 counties to not only celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but also to leave a lasting impact on the next generation. So we here in York know how important the Articles of Confederation were. They were our nation's first constitution, and they were adopted right here in York on November 15th, 1777, when the Second Continental Congress had moved to Yorktown from Philadelphia to flee the British. And York served as the capital of our new nation for 9 months, from September 30th, 1777 to June 27th, 1778. The Articles served as the basis for a central government of the 13 states and was the basis for foreign policy and legislation. Now that's really important, and I want to make some note about that. While in York, Congress ratified the treaty with France, which was huge. As I heard Mayor Helfrich once put it, it's one thing to declare yourself an independent nation, which we did on July 4th, 1776. But are you really independent? So if Bryan Tate calls himself a rock star, is Bryan Tate really a rock star? I was waiting for a better response to that. But when another country actually acknowledges that you're an independent nation, that's when you're really independent. And France did just that in May 1778. That's why the Articles of Confederation is such a big deal. So here, folks, we've assembled over the past couple years to serve as the idea people behind History Made Here, and I know that you will recognize most of them. What's exciting was the creation of the moniker History Made Here. That was an easy choice, especially for the small group who came together to crystallize that. It mirrors York's tagline, "Have it made here," and it really calls out how important York's role in our history of this nation is. We played that significant role locally, statewide, nationally, and internationally. So during those conversations to choose the moniker History Made Here, through a quick Google search, we realized that the website historymadehere.com was open. Nobody owned it. So we jumped on it. We bought it with the idea of providing information to our community and about our celebrations. and to keep it forever so that one of our organizations in our community promoting history or tourism or both could purchase it later and continue marketing it broadly. So check out historymadehere.com, which is currently being housed on the Explore York website and will provide everyone with information about our events and celebrations in York. So I want to call out specifically Gabriel Dunmeyer of Story Supply Company, who's on our committee. Gabe created the York Rotary Foundation logo after taking our board through a process, and he used a similar process to create the History Made Here logo, and then designed artwork for banners that will be flying around York County, all of our municipalities, we hope, beginning next week. So aren't these banners something? I'm really proud of them. You see the History Made Here logo at the bottom of the picture banner on the left, along with an outline of York County, which includes images of some iconic things about our community, like at the top, the Phineas Davis coal engine, the first efficient locomotive, obviously founded here in York. Beautiful agricultural lands like those from northern York County. A pretzel representing York's role as snack food capital, particularly in Western York County. The Articles of Confederation. The York Colonial Courthouse replica pictured from the 250th birthday of York County. The York State Fair, America's oldest fair. The York Barbell Guy. What's more iconic about York than Bob Huffman in Muscletown, USA? Pretty iconic, right? The Shoe House, another iconic York County image. The Marquis de Lafayette toasting George Washington, the beginning of that treaty with France, and York being a rock star. And finally, the burning of the bridge at Wrightsville. And then the complementing banner that's in the center, that has the dates of the 3 History Made Here anniversaries. And then the far right picture, that shows the image of how they'll be flying around York County over what we hope is the next 4 years. So we think that's pretty cool to celebrate for 4 years. So who here likes to party? Like me, who here likes to party? So the party starts this weekend here in York County with the grand opening of the new York County History Center. And we congratulate Joan Mummert and Dennis Bachman and their board and team, donors, and all the companies and folks involved in making this 21st century experience possible. And as Joan and Dennis put it to me, this is a gift to all of you, to all of us in York County. So we can all visit the new center for free this weekend and participate in the celebrations all weekend. So I encourage you all to take me up on that offer. So next, this is really cool too. I'm not sure how many of you remember, but Jim McClure, York's historian, has pulled off the shelf his publication, Never to Be Forgotten. We're thrilled that he decided to do that and to bring it up to date with important information about the most recent 25 years. And we're excited for the relaunch of his book as part of the 275th birthday celebrations. And you see here on this slide, one of Jim's presentations coming up is on August 14th, just in time for the big rollout of all the birthday celebrations for York County. This one is going to be held at the Redland Community Library. So on Saturday, August 17th, we have 2 great events coming up for you. First, from 2 to 6 p.m. on Brooks Robinson Plaza, we will host the York County Birthday Block Party with all kinds of free family fun, including vendors, demonstrations, activities, vital county services, food trucks. And if any agencies or businesses here in the room today have an interest and haven't received that invitation to participate, please see me after the meeting, and I'm glad to pass along information about you to some of our coordinators to make sure that you too can be included. We would love to have you. Next is the York County birthday at the York Revolution. So at 5:30, the gates open for a continuation of the birthday party that will include a pregame parade featuring our 72 municipalities of the county, the national anthem performed by the York County Honors Choir's alumni. So a lot of you might recall that for the county's 250th birthday, the York County Honors Choir was created. Isn't it amazing that they continue strong for 25 years, but for our events, because school isn't yet back in session, alumni from the past 25 years are coming together to sing for us for our birthday party, which is very cool. We'll have county presentations and a proclamation. We'll have county birthday and history themed competitions between the innings, a 275th birthday cake and singing, and to cap it all off, America 250 PA has sponsored the fireworks at the end of the night, which is very cool. So on Sunday, August 18th, we hope that you will join us for a community art project. This is really awesome that our own Rotarian Ophelia Chambliss has designed a mural based on the banner artwork that you saw on an earlier slide. And so we are inviting Yorkers who want to participate in creating a downtown mural to come to the Elks Club on Sunday. I think I have 1 to 6, but I think it actually might be 3 to 6. So I apologize for that error. But to help paint by number this mural that will be cut apart into separate panels to make it easier, and then it'll be assembled later at a location to be disclosed. So we're really excited that this allows all types of people to come together and participate in a creative way to celebrate York County's birthday. And then at 4 p.m., the York County birthday celebration continues with a formal public program at the Capitol Theater at the Appel Center, where the Honors Choir's alumni will perform multiple selections, and historian Jim McClure will be interviewed by radio personality Gary Sutton about our county history and the re-release of Never to Be Forgotten. And finally, on August 19th, York County's actual birthday, a public ceremony will be held at the Administrative Center, the old courthouse, as a lot of us in York call it, at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 a.m., with presentations by county officials, reading of the act of the Pennsylvania Provincial Council that I mentioned earlier that created the county charter, and it'll be read by the signer himself, William Penn's Lieutenant Governor, James Hamilton. Imagine that. He's going to be, able to join us 275 years later. That's amazing. And then we'll also have an unveiling of the plaque that will be hung to memorialize the 275th birthday of York County. But that's not all. Just before noon, the county flag in front of the admin center will be retired, and a new York County flag will be raised bearing a brand new County of York logo. So that's pretty cool that the County of York took this opportunity to rebrand itself in a more modern way, and we can all be a part of that announcement and sharing of that new logo with the community. But the day will be capped off by bells across York County at noon. So at noon, leading the pealing of bells all across our community, the bell in the old courthouse will be rung, and that will signal other bells in downtown York and across York City and across York County to also ring their bells. And that's really significant because if you think about it, 275 years ago, how did people find out information? Well, they rang the town bell to bring everybody to the square to tell them what was happening, to proclaim to them what had occurred. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to notify Yorkers that we are free from Lancaster County. So if you also have your own bell, we hope that you'll join us at noon on August 19th and ring your bell too. That makes me think of a 70s song, You Can Ring My Bell. But regardless, we hope that you'll join in that way if you're not able to come to the public event that day. So we'll keep on celebrating along with America 250 PA. Thanks to the Pennsylvania Freemasons and to local sponsors like York Rotary Foundation, thank you everybody, we'll be dedicating an offspring of the last living Liberty tree that's being planted on the front lawn of the York Colonial Courthouse on October 17th at 1 p.m. And our club's Preserve Planet Earth Committee will be helping to care for that tree for the long haul, along with the History Center for years to come. So we're really excited to be able to participate in this project. So the Pennsylvania Freemasons so thoughtfully got graftings from that tree, and they were able to create these 67 trees so that each county will be able to celebrate in that way. So that's pretty cool. So we hope that you all might join us on that day too, to help celebrate. That tree that I mentioned, it was actually, again, the last living Liberty tree. It was at St. John's College in Annapolis. It was struck by lightning and destroyed. But again, some very smart people stepped up and took those graftings so that folks could continue to carry on that tradition of the Liberty tree. So next, thanks to several donors here in York County and a number of artists in our community who received the call from the Cultural Alliance, we'll be placing 5 decorated fiberglass bells across York County. So how many of you remember that cow parade thing that happened back in the 90s, maybe 2000s, where cities across the country, they got these fiberglass cows that were decorated and they put them, in front of different buildings in their community. Well, think about that, but picture it as Liberty Bell, fiberglass bells, and being across Pennsylvania. So what's going to happen is America 250 PA has purchased the creation of these fiberglass bells. They're looking for communities to get sponsors. We have the ability to get 5 of them, and we're so fortunate that our own artists here in our community are going to decorate them for us. So the locations where ours will be placed, 3 of them will be on the rail trail. First of all, that was easy to do because the county already owns that property, but it's a great way to spread them across our community. So from top to bottom and in the center, there will be a lovely decorated Liberty Bell for all to see. One will be in Hanover on what will eventually be the York-Hanover extension of the rail trail. So that's pretty cool too. And one will be in Dillsburg. Now, thanks to some very special donors in our community, like the Powder Mill Foundation, the Gladfelder Foundation, and others, York County will be one of the first counties to receive a replica bronze Liberty Bell called the Semi-Quincentennial Bell to celebrate a location in York County that is significant to the Revolution, but was not well told in history. So the one that you see here on the top right, that was at the, oh my gosh, and I'm forgetting the name now of the farm. I'll tell you in a second. I have it in my notes here. The Dennis Farm in Susquehanna County. It's the oldest African-American farm in our country, and it's still owned by the same family. That was quite significant. So the very first of these Liberty Bell replicas was placed at the Dennis Farm. And so here in York County, we've identified a location that I can't yet disclose, so I'm sorry about that. But think about a story about how York played a role in the Revolution that we really didn't know much about in this community until maybe the new millennium. And that is a history that's still unfolding. So I think it's really exciting that we get to feature a location in our community that is significant to the Revolution, that we'll be able to tell more broadly to people. So that's really cool. And I'm so thankful for the donors who are stepping up to make that a reality. So this leads to some ways that others in our community can participate. So since York County is only getting 1 Liberty tree, and it's being planted in the front lawn of the Colonial Courthouse, what about all the other municipalities in York County? So thankfully, we have some folks who've stepped up, and I'm able to work with our club's new service project committee to engage Preserve Planet Earth, Youth Literacy, and our Youth Services Committee to partner our city schools and the children in our city and Rotary clubs across the county to plant a tree in all 72 municipalities to acknowledge the county and our country's birthday. So more to come on that project. And folks are coming up with a lot of other great ideas left and right. So I've heard some volunteers are currently working on getting a fabric square from all 72 municipalities to create a York County quilt for display across York County during the next 4 years to help celebrate our community and our nation. Pretty cool. So then, as I mentioned, we have these other birthdays to celebrate. We don't want to overshadow them with our wonderful county celebrations, but you heard about those plans, and we still have some time to plan for more events for the 4th of July, 2026 and November 15th, 2027, Articles of Confederation Day. But how else can our community celebrate? Well, let me tell you. How many of you in the room are familiar with York365.com? Show of hands. A pretty good number of you. I'm impressed. So that's our community's arts and culture calendar of events that's sponsored by the Cultural Alliance of York County. And if you're not familiar, please check it out because York365.com is the best way for your organization to advertise your events in York County, and also for all of us as York Countyans to check out what events we have going on in this community. So we have this amazing one-stop location to find out what great things are happening in our community. So when you look at that, the first picture on the left is the general picture of what comes up on your phone when you Google york365.com. The next picture in the center, the red one, shows how if you go down the list of different types of events, you can actually choose History Made Here. Then what that will do is it will populate all of the events that people who added those events to york365.com and added the tag History Made Here. That's how they will all populate for you. So you can see where to go, where to celebrate, what things are going on. And there's already a great list of events that are assembled by doing that. So keep checking back as often as you can. And we're inviting everyone in York County to plan their own events for the rest of this year, for the upcoming birthdays for America's 250th and the Article's 250th. We're putting out the call. So this is the first call. I'm doing it publicly for all of you, and we'll continue doing it regularly. But we're putting out that call to all municipalities and neighborhoods, all civic and nonprofit organizations, schools, senior centers, you name it. We want you to come up with your own events. We want you to post them on york365.com and then tag them History Made Here. And then that way, all of these events come together for people to do what they want to do, how they want to participate. The reason that's significant is that our committee doesn't have to plan everything. And our committee isn't creating things that we think other people would like. This way, it allows all of you to create things that you know other types of people would like. This model opens up the gates for anyone in our community to plan a party that includes all types of Yorkers. It's an opportunity to diversify our celebrations, to include everyone. It's just an outstanding idea, and we hope this serves as a model for the future, encouraging everyone to get involved and create events that appeal to all types of people. So that's what I have. I know it's a lot. It's a lot for you to absorb. I would remind you to just keep going back to historymadehere.com, york365.com, and look for History Made Here. But if any of you have any questions now, I'm glad to answer them or get back to you if I don't have the answer right now. But I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about our upcoming anniversaries and our celebrations and how we're going to honor these significant points in time for our county and our country and our government. So thanks. What questions do you have? Or is there a slide you want me to go back to? If you don't raise your hand with a question, I'm going to start calling on you and asking you what you're going to plan for one of the big parties. Oh, there's in the back.
Thank you, Brian. Nationally, Philadelphia is known as the first capital. Why isn't York known as the first capital nationally?
So that's a great question because there's a lot of controversy around who the first capital is. That was a marketing campaign in York many years ago. I'm not sure if the Chamber of Commerce had something to do with that back in the day. But so many historians will debate that topic forever about which city actually was the first capital of the United States. So what we can do is we can continue to tell the story about the significant role that York played. Yorktown, as it was called back then, the Articles of Confederation being adopted here and what that meant, so some of the stories that I mentioned about the Articles being here, I mean, for goodness sakes, the first Thanksgiving of our country was adopted here in York while Continental Congress met here at that time. So York certainly played a great historic role in our country's founding, in our government's founding, as a model for others. It's how, here in York, that's when America became a rock star, thanks to the treaty with France. So while nobody is actually 100% certain which city actually was the first capital, we know that we have played a significant role, and we can share, those ways that we did so. What other questions do you have? Yeah, Jody, this is going to be a good one. I don't want you to strain yourself, Jody. No jokes, please.
No. Thank you, Brian. That was really interesting, actually. I learned more about the the anniversary, but when I moved here, I hadn't really heard of York, but then when I learned it was York peppermint patties.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why it wasn't mentioned.
So it's, I have a limited amount of time to present here. There are so many things about York. I mean, if you want me to go through all the snack foods, I think I've eaten through all of York County's snack foods at one point or another. And I'm very proud of all those snack foods. And trust me, when
Brian, I agree. I'm from Iowa and I loved York peppermint patties.
Okay.
It's the only
So-
reason I moved
Okay,
here.
got it. All right, so I have always had this awesome idea, and if any of you, where's Marianne Klein? I always had this great idea that Jeff Koons should make a huge York peppermint patty to be on display somewhere in York. So, and I know some folks with CGA know him well. Come on, guys, get us that big York peppermint patty. I know it's going to have to take a lot of money to insure that thing and all blah, 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 blah. But let's make that happen, for goodness sakes. Let's celebrate the York peppermint patty. What other questions do you have? Yes. CGA right here himself. How are you going to make that happen, Mr. Countess? Okay, thank you. I mean, Jeff Koons spoke to us several years ago. Let's make this happen. Go ahead, sorry.
Brian, can you please tell us where the boundary line is between Lancaster County and York County?
Yeah, so that boundary, yes. Part of the deal with York County being carved off of Lancaster County was that they got to keep the river.
The whole way to the high water mark on the York side.
And so what's interesting about that is it's not our problem. I mean, think about it. That was really smart. Whoever on our side said, oh yeah, you could go ahead and keep the river. That was pretty smart. But again, when I read the actual act that the Lieutenant Governor signed on William Penn's behalf, it was very clear why people in this community wanted their own government. And it was because Lancaster was so far away. And if you had to go to the sheriff's office to report something, or if you had to go to court or a county building, that was really far away. And we still all complain about that today. But imagine if you were doing that without the modes of transportation we have now. So that's why it occurred. And then when Adams County, this is really interesting too. Marquis de Lafayette came twice to York. Once when he gave that famous toast, allegedly, supporting George Washington. But then also, I recently heard that he came back when Adams County separated and became its own county. He helped to celebrate that. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, more significant details are, I'm learning about, even though I thought I got a pretty good education, but it's pretty cool to relearn all these great things through these celebrations. Yes, Steve.
One of the more fun features of the 250th celebration of York County was a multicultural food festival. Is there anything like that in the works?
So we are not planning a multicultural food festival. We are planning the event at Brooks Robinson Plaza, which has a lot of different elements to it, all types of family fun. There will be some food trucks there, but it's not that type of a food festival. But what I'm encouraging you, Steve, is now that you've made this, known to everybody in this room, we would love for you to plan that multicultural food festival. Put that up on york365.com so everybody knows where to go on what day and at what time, and we will all be there. But in all seriousness, I know that this weekend at the grand opening of the History Center that they are having a cultural fair. So that's a great opportunity for all of us to engage in that type of an event. And again, our block party at Brooks Robinson Plaza on the 17th is another opportunity to come together. But again, we don't want to plan everybody's event. We want each member of our community to feel like if there's a special way that they celebrate, show us how you want us all to celebrate. The way that Bryan Tate throws a party isn't the way that Natalie Gunderson throws a party. So, it's upon all of us to show each other what our different cultures are and what makes them special and why we're all a part of each other's cultures too. Any other questions? No. Thanks, everybody.
So I'm not sure which is harder to say, semi-quincentennial or Tom Caltagirone. Both equally challenging. Now, Brian, thank you for sharing everything that you did with us today. You've truly thought of everything in terms of a meaningful, impactful way to celebrate and honor these upcoming birthdays and anniversaries. Rotarians, another round of applause for Brian. As you all know, instead of giving the speaker a gift, we purchase a book and we ask them to sign the book plate and we donate it locally. This week's book will be donated to Crispus Attucks along with a bookmark made by the students at Creative York. Next week, we will hear from Katie Stevens, Director of Store Operations for Wawa, and she's been a member of the Wawa flock for 23 years. Katie will take us behind the scenes to provide a look at Wawa's 200-year-old history in American business and how Wawa's unique cultural of caring has helped the family and associate-owned company take flight and expand through the years. Katie will also provide insights into Wawa's community involvement and provide a bird's eye view of Wawa's expansion in central Pennsylvania. This meeting is now adjourned.